Are you a pear, or an apple, or a triangle, or a spoon? Those are all really bad questions, but what I really want to know is, have you ever wondered how to dress for your body type and your proportions? If you're watching this, you probably feel like you don't know your body type, and that makes sense because your body is not a fruit and your body is not a shape. By the end of this video, I don't want you to know your body type, but I do want you to understand your proportions so that you can feel more confident knowing what clothing will flatter your figure. For the best professional style advice, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Thursday. This approach to dressing for your body type is what I teach in my Professional Style Essentials program. I teach my clients how to look at their body shape, how to understand their proportions, and how to make their own decisions about what clothing looks good on them. Because number one, you are a smart, independent woman and you can make your own decisions. And number two, I'm not always going to be there, and you won't always have someone with you telling you what looks good or what doesn't. So instead, I'm creating this video to help you do it for yourself. I've helped dozens of women dress for their body type using this strategy, and now you can try it out for yourself. First of all, I'd like to address what this video is not. This is not about hard rules for what you can and cannot wear based on your body type, because you can wear whatever you want. And many women feel frustrated because they don't fit any of the body type descriptions, and it makes sense because everyone has a unique body structure and shape. So I am not here to tell you how to fit the mold. Instead, I'm going to help you understand what to wear so that you feel confident and look good. The first step is to understand your body shape. And to do this, you need to take 4 things into consideration. The first is your width proportions. Second is where you carry your weight. Third is your shoulder structure. And fourth is your hip structure. First up is width proportions. And this means the proportion of your shoulders relative to your hips. Are they proportionate or in line? Are your shoulders wider than your hips, or are they narrower than your hips? One way you can figure this out is by using a yardstick, or something that resembles a yardstick. And what you want to do is hold the top of the yardstick up against the top part or the end of your clavicle bone. And then you want to hold the lower part of the yardstick against the outer part of your hip. Then you want to pay attention to if the yardstick is straight up and down, or if it is angled slightly inward or outward. This will help you determine if your shoulders are wide, narrow, or in line with your hips. Something else to pay attention to with your width proportions is the definition of your waist. If you have a defined waist, when you're holding the yardstick up against your shoulder and your hip, there's going to be a larger space between your waist and the yardstick, roughly the width of your fist or more. If you have an undefined waist, the space between your waist and the yardstick is going to be a lot narrower and probably too narrow for your fist or hand to pass through. The next thing to look at when you want to understand your body type and your proportions is where you carry your weight. Some women carry their weight in their upper body. Some women carry their weight in their midsection. Some women carry their weight on their lower body, and others have it evenly distributed. This is useful because it can help you understand where you are wider, where you are narrower, and it can also help you understand how your body may have changed if you notice the shape has changed over time. Next, you want to look at the structure of your shoulder. Typically, your shoulder will either be square or rounded. One way you can tell if your shoulder is square or rounded is by holding the yardstick horizontally across the base of your neck. If there is 2 inches or more of space between the end of your shoulder and the yardstick, you likely have sloped or rounded shoulders. If the space between the end of your shoulder and the yardstick is less than 2 inches, you probably have squared shoulders. Finally, you'll need to look at the structure of your hips and whether your hips are flat or curved. One way you can tell if your hip is flat or curved is by placing the yardstick against your hip. If it teeters, you probably have a curved hip. If it lays flat, then you probably have a flat hip. I'm going to use myself as an example of everything that I just talked about. So looking at my width proportions, my shoulders and my hips are relatively aligned. And I do have a relatively defined waist. My shoulders are square and my hips are pretty flat. The idea here is to start looking at your body through the eyes of an artist and paying attention to what lines and what curves make up your unique shape. Dressing for your body type is really about understanding how to choose cuts that will fit you best and make you feel most confident in what you're wearing. With that said, when you are wearing cuts that fit you well, I want you to start paying attention to what parts of your body that you want to highlight. So let me know in the comments below, what parts of your body do you want to highlight? The next step is to choose the right clothing silhouettes for your figure. Silhouette is just a fancy word for shape, and different clothing items are cut in different shapes. Now that you are seeing your body from a different perspective, you need to understand what clothing shapes will be best for your figure. Think of it like that game young kids play where you have to fit a shape into a hole. The square goes into the square hole and the circle goes into the circle hole. This is a really simplified way of looking at dressing, but the fact is that some cuts or shapes of clothing are going to fit your figure better than others. You need to understand your proportions and your body shape objectively so that you can choose clothing that has the same shape and follows the lines of your body. To go back to my body as an example, I have shoulders and hips that are in line. I have a defined waist. I carry my weight in my midsection. I have squared shoulders and a flat hip. What this means for me is that while I could wear something with a straight seam because my shoulders and my hips are in line, I prefer to wear something with a tailored waist so that it does show the shape of my waist. I'm not going to wear tops that show off my stomach because it wouldn't be comfortable for me, but I will wear pieces that have a squared shoulder. I also like to wear pants, skirts, and dresses that narrow towards the bottom because of my flat hip. This gives me the appearance of having more curves. Now, I could wear clothes with a straight cut, but I do want to appear more curvy, so I typically go for pieces that flatter my waist and narrow at the bottom because I do want to create the illusion of having more curves. To keep it simple, your primary silhouette or the main cut that will fit your body best will mirror, mimic, and match the lines of your body. So this is just a brief introduction to dressing for your body type, and I'm sure you have a lot more questions. So be sure to comment and leave your questions in the comment section below. Now you understand more about your body type and proportions and how to know which clothing silhouette will be best for your shape. But how does this translate to your professional wardrobe? I have a complete checklist of the 17 essential items for a core professional wardrobe, so you know exactly what you need for a wardrobe that is professional and minimal. Download the guide at the link in the description. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe.